The 67th game of this nearly month-long festival. And it all comes down to this: Michigan and Louisville. The officials who draw the assignment: John Cal, Tony Green, John Higgins. Gentlemen, here we go. And it's Siva on a little pick and roll, and that gets shut off quickly by McGarry in Michigan. The Cardinals, who have won 15 straight. Siva drives in, too strong on the layup, and Hardaway finally able to pick up the handle. And guys, what are you expecting at the start?
Well, I think it'll be up and down. Both of these teams love to play in the open court. Michigan has so much ability to spread the floor offensively in the half court because of the three-point shooting. But this guy has been the player of the tournament outside of Russ Smith, Mitch McGarry. And for Michigan, you're going to go against this matchup zone defense. A little tricky to figure out, but they get a quick start with Trey Burke.
Oh, what a big shot that is. He hits his first one of the night, and he made a beautiful move to gauge it just right over Jang.
Nothing like settling a player down who struggled in his last game. Nothing does it better than knocking down your first shot.
And here's Smith at the other end. That one took a while, but rolled off the rim, and jumping to get the rebound is Burke, who takes off down the middle of the floor to Robinson. To Burke, he wants it, puts up the three, and hello, championship night.
Just what the doctor ordered for the consensus player of the year in college basketball. Shot making early can ignite not only him, but his teammates too.
Almost comes up with a steal. Now right back to Jang. And that's Blackshear with a three for the Cardinals.
Well, this game has started out exactly like we expected. Both teams up and down. I think both clubs probably a little looser tonight than they were on Saturday when they had to kind of shake off some early nerves.
It's Hardaway driving in, and Jang got the block. No goaltending. Siva racing ahead, and he slips but is fouled outside. How about the block by Jang?
Nobody does it better in college basketball than Gorgui Dieng. I'm the driver, which is Tim Hardaway Jr. Perfect timing.
And goaltend.
It was a goaltend. He actually hit the backboard before he blocked it, so got away with one there.
Sure did.
Yep.
And at the other end, the foul's on Burke. Here's Smith, jumper. And Stauskas able to recover and pick it up. Got Smith behind him, running side by side with him. Smith's so dangerous, had 8 steals in the first game of the tournament for the Cardinals, which tied an all-time tournament record. Stauskas to Hardaway with a three. And Robinson rebounds it for the Wolverines.
Long misses lead to long rebounds. Louisville has to be conscious of that on three-point shot attempts, and the guards have to be able to get to that foul line area to pluck out some rebounds.
Stauskas over to Robinson, and here's Burke. What a matchup this is. Smith on it. Burke weaves through it all and puts up the shot. Gets it to go, and he's got 7 already here in the first 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
Now, he was 1 for 8 the other day, so you knew he was going to come out the Wooden Award winner this season, consensus All-America. You knew he'd come out aggressive, and he's hot here early.
Yeah, he's hit his first 3 shots, including one from beyond the arc.
This is a matchup I think Michigan can take advantage of.
Diana, no, but Jang reaches over and gets it back. Bounce pass, and Blackshear banks it home.
He was a non-factor offensively, only played 9 minutes because of the play of Hancock the other night, and only took 1 shot and missed it.
Yep.
So he's off to a nice start here for Louisville.
Yeah, Blackshear with all 5 of Louisville's points after, as you said, not scoring in the game against Wichita State. And what a performance that was by Coach Marshall's Shockers, who had the Cardinals 12 down in the second half. Just a great effort by them. Here's Burke. Puts up another one. Thought he was going to draw the foul, but came up short off the glass. And it's Smith slashing in there. That's his best move. Splits defenders and somehow able to contort his body and get the shot.
He is something else in transition, guys. He really is. The speed, the concentration, the shot-making ability from all kinds of angles, just superb.
How about this up and down the floor for over 4 minutes? As Jang saw that coming inside and tapped it. And Siva was able to pick it off the floor. Up ahead, Smith. Burke there defending, and Burke got a hand on it. Was in danger of perhaps picking up a second foul, but made a clean play. Now here's Burke. Outside, a foul first. And a foul is on Louisville's black shirt.
Folks, you better keep your head up and stay out of the kitchen tonight.
That's right.
This one is full throttle. Russ Smith coming at you. We got a tight one, and they're playing it on rollerblades here in Atlanta.
Back in Atlanta, all square at 7, and the quick start for Trey Burke has Michigan fans excited. The bank on the runner, the deep three, and then getting into that paint area. That's where Louisville's trying to avoid any kind of drives like that. But Burke off to the quick start.
Hey, look at this. Juwan Howard, Jimmy King, Ray Jackson, 3 members of the Fab Five. We saw from the studio earlier Chris Webber arriving.
Jalen Rose in the mix as well.
Oh, there's Jalen. Yeah.
There he is.
Okay.
Got that Wolverine hat
yes,
on.
He does.
You couldn't recognize him.
How about that? They played in this championship game 20 years ago. They played back-to-back years in the finals and didn't win it.
Burke getting a break right now. Good time for him to sit back, exhale a bit. Off to a terrific start. 3 of 4 is Trey Burke.
And he has the 1 foul, and I think that's what John Beilein is thinking. He was very close to getting another one as Stauskas is off on his first jump shot. But good time to get Burke out of the game so he doesn't pick up that second.
Now staying with Michigan with Albrecht on the floor for Burke. Watch the game on the go. Keep up with the stats, social media, and highlights with NCAA March Madness Live. Get the app at ncaa.com/March Madness. So Smith back in after an extra couple of seconds on the bench, and Luke Hancock. You hear the Luke calls from the Louisville contingent, number 11.
I hate this pass because of how it brings into play the steal and the possibility for an easy score. It's a bailout. It's a lack of execution when you have to make that pass all the way in the backcourt and not get it inside in your forecourt.
Here's Albrecht, and he has not missed this entire tournament. He is now 6 out of 6 from 3 in the tournament.
Amazing.
I thought the key to that Syracuse game were the big threes, both from Albrecht and LeVert in that first half. That really set the tone for that game.
Jang from the outside, and he scores here in Atlanta for the first time.
He's got to be a factor. I really think he and Shane Bohannon have to be involved offensively for Louisville tonight. We know Russ Smith has been fantastic. Siva has come up with big shots on occasion. Hancock as well as Brent Robinson III able to convert inside. But in order to counteract this offensive firepower of Michigan, I think Louisville has to go inside to Zhang and also Bohannon at times.
Smith got McGarry on the switch off down low. That means one is open, and that is Bohannon with the dunk.
Penetration from both teams. We heard the guys in the studio talking so much about who could guard, who could keep the other team out of the paint. All these guards here, Siva, Russ Smith, Trey Burke, everybody with the ability to penetrate and find teammates.
McGarry, and McGarry's turnaround is good. Averaging 16 points and 12 rebounds in tournament games. After only 2 starts in the regular season, gets the nod in the NCAA tournament, and what a breakout performance. Here's Smith, quick on the shot. Long rebound comes out to Hardaway. Numbers here for Michigan. Albrecht, can he do it again? He is still perfect. Albrecht, 7 of 7 from 3 in the tournament. He was 2 of 2 Saturday. He comes off the bench here and hits 2 more in just a couple of minutes. Siva takes it in and able to pick up the foul call against Robinson.
Some kind of story taking place with Spike Albrecht. You see him run the right lane. Nice job by Hardaway with the late find. Shoulders square, feet set. Spray it, Spike. Spray it.
Hey, keep this in mind. Guy has 16 three-pointers the entire season. Okay, so he had 9 threes in the regular season and the Big Ten tournament combined. Got 7 now in the last 6 games.
Well, you heard in our pregame Rick Pitino talk about defending everybody as if they're a potential star. And that's how you have to look at it. You never know, as John Beilein said after the game the other night, who the outlier is going to be. Who's going to step up and make some shots or make some plays that you might not expect him to make. Boy, I love this pace. So do both of these teams. This is exactly how they want to play. It's going to be a matter of who can minimize the easy scores for the opponent.
So Burke comes back in, and along with him, Horford with his first action, handling it here. And Albrecht. He's not going to even think about challenging Jang. There's Hardaway's attempt from three. And look at Horford battling for it. And finally, they call the tie-up, and the arrow will stay with Michigan.
I really think this is a good job by the officials not to anticipate too soon in blowing this whistle. They let them wrestle, and ultimately could have allowed it to go on.
That's probably what they should have done that last play of that Wichita State game.
I agree.
That tie-up with a
tad
Ron
quick.
Baker. Yep.
There's that pass again, Clark. And Jang comes all the way to midcourt and commits the foul. His first.
You know, there was so much talk coming into this game about what kind of pressure Louisville would put on Michigan. We know they like to pick up full court, try to cause havoc, but Michigan on the other end, the best team in the country at handling the ball, and if they break the press, they get open looks. To this point, Louisville has picked up full court man, but they're not running and jumping. They're not really trying to expose themselves on the back end.
Albrecht, this is unbelievable. Unreal. 9 points off the bench.
Like an out-of-body experience. Are you kidding? This is a national championship game.
How about that move? Siva able to get to the rim. That's something Michigan has to do a better job of, defending that pick and roll.
Well, there's always someone that you least expect who steps up in the championship game, and the early candidate is no doubt Spike Albrecht. A little tournament summary here, this Big Ten Big East matchup. Only the third time they've ever met. What a story, though. A 5'11" freshman from Crown Point, Indiana, Spike Albrecht, hitting all of his shots in the tournament without a miss. Tim Hardaway Jr. was talking yesterday about the team playing a road game this year, and they got off the bus. Albrecht was the last one to get off the bus, and one of the security guards wouldn't let him in. He had to see, he didn't believe he was one of the basketball players. He had to go and get somebody to vouch that he was actually a member of the Wolverine team.
Yeah, show him the videotape, Spike.
There you go. Terrific start. So much for the dome impacting shooting. These teams have combined to make 14 of 25 to start. Make it 14 of 26 now. Michigan's got to contain Siva. He's been able to get into the lane a couple of times now.
Here's Hancock. He knew he was going to get fouled. And it'll be
Trey Burke. As you look at Kevin Ware, and I think he's indicating that's Burke's second as well.
Yes, it is.
This is a tough call here, and this is what Hancock does really well. But you see Burke jumping by. I think that's a play on. I mean, he jumped. Hancock leans way over to the left, tries to create contact. To me, you only get that call if the guy jumps into you, not way to the side.
Tomorrow on The Late Show, don't miss Dave's exclusive interview with Lindsay Lohan, followed by Craig Ferguson, only CBS. So Hancock has 2 more to go, and what a star he was on Saturday with 20 points off the bench against Wichita State. And there's Burke having to sit with the 2 fouls.
This is huge. I mean, this is where you start to worry about the Louisville pressure. Harris LeVert comes in. You look for Albrecht to handle the ball, but Burke is the Big Ten Player of the Year, National Player of the Year. He's your guy. This is where the pressure may become an issue.
Hardaway. He's got a size advantage over those Louisville guards.
And you need to use that size in terms of getting your body between the ball and the smaller defender. Didn't do a good job there as Hancock was able to jump it.
Siva in traffic on the floor. Hardaway able to gain a tie-up, and the arrow stays this way.
You know, every coach has a different philosophy when a star gets 2 fouls. Some college coaches will say, that's it, we're not playing you the rest of the half. I think John Beilein is just going to play it by ear here. He's got a little lead. His team is playing well. But if things go south, I don't think he'll hesitate to bring Burke back in here in the first half.
I agree. He's going to massage it and see how things unfold. And if need be, he'll trust Burke, although he's only a sophomore. He'll trust him to perhaps come back in and try to settle things. But right now, +3. Let's see how they handle the pressure. You want to try to open up the floor with a good ball handler against this full-court pressure so that Louisville's not in a position to trap you. And this is what you want to do. Albrecht has to be able to handle it, get it across, and then get into offense.
That was the first turnover against the Cardinals, who had brought in Harrell, who's defending right here, as well as Van Treese, who's guarding McGarry.
With Pitino mixing up his defenses as he always does. They're in man-to-man now. There's the steal.
And Siva just came right in there with a beautiful bounce pass. Van Treese muscles for the board and sends it back outside.
That's twice now Hardaway Jr. has over-dribbled. He's got to be much more judicious with his bounce and move that ball with the pass in the half court.
McGarry, well, he turned around and Siva saw he turned his back. And it's batted out by the Wolverines.
Burke goes to the bench. 2 quick turnovers already. Nick Stauskas now will come back into the game for Michigan. But the turnovers have come in their half-court execution. I think they've got to go through McGarry when he's on the floor for offense, especially with Burke on the bench. Get the ball to McGarry, use him as a passer, cut around him.
And Hardaway Jr. going to sit down because he committed those 2 turnovers by over-dribbling. And that's a double dribble on Gorgui Dieng that gives the ball back to Michigan. You know, one of the things that I thought was really impressive in the game on Saturday with Michigan was how well the Wolverines played defense. It was a grinded-out type game, but Michigan did it. Michigan did a nice job defensively, and sometimes that part of its game gets overlooked.
Tim Henderson now guarding Albrecht. Albrecht floats it now. Hey, I can make him from 2 also.
This guy has game now. He hasn't played a lot because he's sitting behind the consensus national player of the year. But that benefits you in practice. Who is guarding Burke in practice? Albrecht. Who is Albrecht being guarded by Burke? This kid can play.
Look at McGarry, and then from the floor, it's Albrecht up ahead to McGarry. Outside Stauskas. Can he finish it off? Yes! With a 3. From the floor, it all began again with Albrecht.
He's no longer Spike Albrecht. I'm calling him Spike Nash for the rest of the night. I mean, are you kidding me?
Seizing the moment, taking advantage of the opportunity is Spike Albrecht. And man, has he been special so far.
Here's Smith now, driving in off the glass too long. And LeVert comes flying through to get it back for Michigan.
And how big is that shot for Stauskas, who did not make a field goal attempt on Saturday? Such a big part of this offense.
Underneath, Albrecht waits and gets to go to the line. Albrecht, who's already set a season high in points here tonight.
Jim, I'm going to read some numbers to you here, okay? Spike Albrecht averages 1.8 points per game.
Yeah, that's
1.8. He averages 0.8 rebounds. I mean, this is a guy who...
You got to factor that into his minutes played, Steve. On a per-minute basis, he's producing at a high level.
Well, yeah, but...
If you extrapolate it out to 40 minutes...
Clark, it's Monday night here. It's the championship game.
But he misses the first free throw. One thing, they're about to bring in Morgan for just a moment. They had 5 freshmen on the floor. As now Morgan, a junior, comes in for Robinson. So that little spurt fueled by Spike was a little retro Fab 5 action here. And Siva comes back for Henderson.
Henderson is just playing sort of 2-minute spells for Siva and Smith. Rick Pitino knows Siva and Smith are asked to do so much already, but with Kevin Ware unable to play, fatigue could be a factor, especially after all the energy they expended against Wichita State.
Zone defense here for the first time by Michigan, guys. Going to try to make Louisville settle for perimeter shot. Beautiful pass.
Oh, and Jang beats that zone with that pass.
We saw that with Michigan with Mitch McGary against Syracuse. You get a good passing big man at the high post, and he can turn, look, and dump it down to a teammate.
Foul on Smith as we go to the break.
Made and blue all over Atlanta. Trey Burke from deep. Spike, Albrecht. Show him what you got.
Download the free Masters app and follow all the tournament action. It's Masters Week coming up, and go to Masters.com to get the real-time scores, the live video, and the latest news from Augusta National. There's John Beilein, turned 60 in February, and he's set in the stands for 30 years at the Final Four, dreaming of what it would be like one day to bring a team here. Of course, he took 4 different schools, programs to the NCAA tournament. And he was there back in '89, the one time Michigan won the championship in Seattle, sitting there with his wife Kathleen in the old Kingdome, and they turned to each other and said, boy, that fight song from Michigan, that's a good one. That's the best I've ever heard. And now they're playing it for him.
Exactly. I think I've heard it 817 times in the last 3 days.
And it sounds great every time, and that's coming from a Buckeye sitting right here.
There's McGary with the jumper off the glass.
You know, this team was ranked #1 in the middle of this season before McGary was even a factor. So you think about the talent this club has. Now you throw in McGary, who looks like a lottery pick here in the Final Four. I mean, they're loaded with talent.
Well, Michigan had Jordan Morgan up ahead. LeVert almost had a strip. Morgan underneath. No, but LeVert. He wants to come back out with it.
Michigan dominating the glass and knocking down threes. That's why they're up double digits, or close to it rather.
And
up 9.
McGary and then Morgan blocked again, and Siva saves it right on the baseline.
Well, the other thing with this lead is Smith looks like he's going to get right to the hole. There's Stauskas with the block, but with this lead, Beilein's able to keep Trey Burke on the bench.
Let's go over to Tracy Wolfson.
Well, thanks, Jim. During that last timeout, Rick Pitino really upset with his team's defensive effort. He said, they're shooting 50%. We need to play our game better defense. We need to force turnovers and wear them out. He said, we need to play closer to the ball because they're not missing, guys.
Well, meanwhile, we're going to have Smith back to the line. Thank you, Tracy, who's been shooting more than 10 free throws per tournament game, been living at the line and been scoring at least 20 points in every single tournament game.
One of only a handful of guys that's been able to do that and play for the national championship, Jim. 20 plus in the first 5, and then playing on Monday night.
So he gets 2 free throws, only 1 of 8 from the field so far as Smith. He started slowly on Saturday and then really got going. To the corner, Robinson blocked. McGary on the floor fighting for it, along with Henderson. And now they call a tie-up. And this again, as they keep going back and forth, it's Michigan's turn to keep it.
How's that not a foul? I mean, McGary's in midair. He gets undercut by Blackshear. Clearly a foul, but no call right there.
Yeah, there's the bump, and he goes to the ground, but stays with it. Eventually forces the held ball. I tell you, the ability of Michigan to shoot threes and space the floor allows them to be a very good offensive rebounding team. It's really hard to cover the ground you have to block out when they're spaced out so far.
Well, this is interesting. Is this a technical foul? Maybe a delay of game? Looked like Blackshear, or was it Bohannon? Did we get a hand on the ball before it was inbounded?
There was a warning issued against Louisville's Bohannon, so right back to Michigan inbounding, and they'll go with Hardaway on the throw-in.
Very rarely do you get a delay of game on the defense in a situation like that on an inbounds pass. Sometimes that's called a technical foul. So, interesting.
Albrecht with another 3. This kid has 15 of the 31.
And hasn't missed. That's the other thing, has not missed.
Just once at the line.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about from the field, partner.
Bouncing around McGarry there, and it's going back to the Wolverines.
Whatever happens in this game, win or lose, we have a new cult hero in Ann Arbor, Michigan, Spike Albrecht, lighting it up. I'm going to repeat, Clark, and I know you got the minutes played and all that. He averages 1.8 points per game. And here he is with 15 in 15 minutes. Actually, less than that.
It's a volcanic eruption of epic proportions.
Yes. And all of this with Burke on the bench. And a foul call against Louisville that has Patino spinning.
This is how well the night's going for Albrecht. Looked like he got a little away from himself here. And there's the bump from Hancock and the foul. Rick Pitino was going absolutely nuts on the sidelines.
First team, a 15 foul, number 1 on Hancock. And we'll go back out to Michael Spike Albrecht, who is a young kid, so pridefully wore his baseball spikes everywhere he went. He wanted to prove to everybody he could play ball. His parents named him Spike as a little boy. This time it's blocked. And it's a call against McGarry.
One of the things you have to wonder about is Mitch McGarry picks up the foul. Albrecht has not played these kinds of minutes in a game, let alone the championship game. So you wonder about his stamina and his endurance. Does fatigue start to creep in and affect his sharpness? Obviously, Trey Burke has the 2 fouls, so you want to keep him out as long as you can if you're John Beilein. But it'll be interesting over this next minute or two. Actually, you'll have the under 4-minute timeout at some point. Can Spike go the distance this half and still be sharp? Boy, that was a kick ball. Yeah, McGarry got away with. I guess they considered it an incidental kick.
Siva, and that's blocked. 4 to shoot. And McGarry travel.
Boy, this is really something.
Getting sloppy here both ways.
And the officiating as well has been a little sloppy here. Some very questionable calls. Let's take a look at the kick that happened. No call.
Was an that's an intentional
the most
kick.
Obvious call in the building.
Yeah.
And then right here, Siva gets his hands all in there. Boy.
Called him for a travel.
Yeah.
So Louisville with its largest deficit of the night at 10. And Jang, front of the rim.
Well, Louisville has to settle down. They're a little out of sync offensively. Forcing shots, not running their offense.
And that's going to be on Smith, his second. The 2013 Women's Final Four concludes tomorrow with the national championship game. And yes, it's Louisville against UConn. Coverage begins at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN. For more information, go to NCAA.com. Horford for McGarry. And again, Smith just picked up his second. So he goes out, Henderson in.
I like that for Beilein, getting McGarry out. He's prone to fouls. There's 4.5 minutes left. He's a high-energy player, but early in this season, he got himself in a lot of foul trouble. So sit him down when he's tired. Don't let him pick up that next foul.
And you're right in the window for the under 4-minute media timeout.
Break.
Fade away, Hardaway, tough shot. Look at Horford. Well done by Horford.
They're really doing a nice job on the offensive glass. Again, the spacing of Michigan, making it tough for Louisville to box out and clean up the defensive board.
It's Albrecht for 2 more.
He's not tired. Forget about what I said. He's on adrenaline, and he is flowing like he's never flown before on the basketball court in college.
His all-time high in his freshman season was 7. He had 7 against Ohio State in one game, 7 against also against Syracuse, and now he's come up with 17 on championship night. Back in the Georgia Dome, Jim Nance, Steve Kerr, Clark Kellogg, Tracy Wolfson, and just look at the rebounds +9. In fact, points +9 since Burke went out with 2 fouls, and Louisville has not hit a shot from the floor in over 4 minutes.
I think the rebounding is big. We heard the guys in the studio talk about this in pregame show. Michigan's a finesse team. A lot of this game was about, could they withstand the physical play of Louisville? Could they scrap and claw for rebounds? And that's exactly what they've done. There's Burke, 2 fouls. So you wonder about the rhythm that he's going to come back with. But the performance of Spike Albrecht, I mean, we're trying to find a comparison. We're sitting here during the timeout. Who has done what Spike Albrecht has done in the history of this tournament?
He stands alone.
17 points in less than 17 minutes into this game.
I can't recall anybody close to that type of production under these kinds of circumstances off the bench. And replacing the consensus National Player of the Year.
It, by the way. Going against the guards who've been the talk of the tournament on the other side, too. Up 12, Michigan. The two biggest comeback wins of this tournament by the two finalists. Michigan 14 down, 7 minutes to go in Dallas. And what a comeback win that was, eventually in overtime. And then Louisville 12 down Saturday against Wichita State with 13 minutes left. Here it's 12 with Spike Albrecht. 17 points, 6 out of 7 from the field, 4 out of 4 from 3.
Louisville's not going to panic. I mean, they just came back from this deficit, as we saw in the graphic. They were down 15 to Syracuse in the Big East tournament final. Came back, no issue. They've got to just remain poised.
Stay in the know. Download the Team Stream app from Bleacher Report now and get real-time news and alerts for all your favorite teams. There's Hancock, very reliable at the line.
Well, one thing about making free throws or buckets, you get a chance to get into some full-court pressure, and that's what Louisville does. We saw it Saturday night. Hardaway struggled with the ball and earned him some time on the bench. This time he takes it himself and makes it pay.
That's the issue. When you press full court, you're vulnerable at the other end, and Michigan has a lot of weapons to hurt you with.
And that time, Hardaway much stronger with the ball, Steve. Yeah. The two turnovers he committed, he was sloppy and soft with it. That time he was very aggressive with the basketball.
The timeout called from the floor by Louisville. Coming up, AT&T at the half. Greg Gumbel and the team. Greg Anthony, Doug Gottlieb, Kenny Smith, and Charles Barkley break down this first half. And the awarding of the Naismith Trophy presented by AT&T to the Player of the Year. All coming up on AT&T at the half.
Pretty big 3 minutes here, would you say, Clark?
Without question, Steve. Louisville has to find some level of rhythm and continuity on offense.
There's Hancock hitting the three.
That's a good start. Now they get into the pressure. They don't want to open up the floor with useless gambling, and they also don't want to foul. But that's because of the gamble by Montrezl Harrell. It put his team in a tough position defensively there.
Hancock hitting that shot, the first field goal in 4 minutes and 55 seconds for the Cardinals. And Hancock actually gets the whistle at the other end, his second. And it's a 1-and-1 for Glenn Robinson III. You know, you guys have heard of RG3. Well, he's known by his teammates as GR3.
Well, and he's been something in this tournament, shooting 62% in the 5 games coming in, averaging 13 points. How about this number? Michigan's 21-1 when Robinson gets to double figures this season. In a lot of ways, he's the barometer, kind of the X factor for the Wolverines.
Agreed, because he doesn't need plays called. There's Hancock again. Well, you got to feel like what he was able to do the other night has him stoked with confidence.
Yeah, you're starting to get a little flashback these last 2 trips down the floor, what he did the other night. He and Henderson. So he puts up 6 in 36 seconds. And look at this matchup. Jang outside on Albrecht.
That means his teammates have to be ready to help him if he gets beat.
Got 4 to shoot. Outside Levert, that's wide. And Siva surveys up ahead.
Pretty good job by James.
But no Russ Smith in the game.
Ready for another one. It's Hancock again.
I'm thinking no Russ Smith. You can't get transition baskets here, but you can get a long jumper from Hancock. He's on fire.
9-1 run, timeout, Beeline. I think Hancock wants to issue a challenge to Albrecht. Let's take this man-on-man, one-on-one, and shoot this out for the championship.
Boy, Luke Hancock
Hancock saved the day for the Cardinals on Saturday. He might just do it again here on Monday night. 3 consecutive three-pointers. His team in a big hole, and now emotionally, confidence-wise, they are right back to where they need to be.
3 shots of espresso there. Compliments of Luke Hancock.
From Roanoke, Virginia, the son of a retired CPA, and he's proving he knows a thing or two about how to put up numbers himself. Coming off 20 on Saturday and 9 big ones here in the late going first half. McGarry. And a nice rebound snagged by Blackshear. Here's another 3. Van Treese grabs it with one arm and is going to stay with the Cardinals.
Well, I think you've got to be intentional about trying to find Luke Hancock. He's just knocked down 3 as Burke continues to sit with the 2 personal fouls. Borges, Jang returns. Van Treese had a nice defensive stand against McGarry and a big couple of rebounds. Jordan Morgan comes in for Michigan. So some shuffling of the deck. McGarry, does he have 2 fouls? McGarry, or is he just with 1?
Just one. Here's Hancock. Oh, my goodness. That is 4 in a little less than a minute and a half. Single-handedly bringing Louisville back into this game.
Here's a Louisville crowd in the background chanting Luke.
He's the one guy that can match the Michigan three-point shooters, Luke Hancock, and he's done it to the tune of trying to get his team on the lead.
And up ahead, DeSiva. And the attack by Harrell. And just like that, in the blink of an eye, Louisville comes from 12 down to take the lead. It's first of the night. 8 seconds to go in the half. Albrecht driving in. Gives it up. And a push foul called on Louisville with 2.5 seconds to go in the half. It's called on Blackshear.
A blitzkrieg by the Cardinals, and this is the tail end of it. Montrezl Harrell wrecking that rim. Beautiful pass by Siva off a turnover. And boy, it didn't take long, guys.
No.
About 90 seconds, wasn't it? Maybe about somewhere between 90 seconds and 2 minutes.
1-and-1 for Robinson. Ties it with that one. Hancock had 14 unanswered points because he had the free throws also and the 4 threes. And then Harrell gets the dunk. Finally put someone else in the scoring column. Now to get the lead regained, and that's Robinson putting Michigan up 38-37.
What an explosion both ways. Albrecht first for Michigan as John Horford returns, and then Hancock.
And here they inbound to Siva. He launches at midcourt, and he gave it a shot. Michigan led by 12 with 3 minutes left. But Louisville closes the half on a 14-3 run.
This is setting up to be an all-time classic. This thing almost went in. I wouldn't have been surprised after what we saw in the first half.
No, I'm kind of surprised it didn't drop. Let's go over to Tracy.
Thanks so much, Coach. You had a 12-point lead there. They were able to tie it up, and then you regained the lead here. But what happened down the stretch there?
And Tracy, it's just a great basketball game. Look at those storylines out there with Hancock and Spike Albrecht. It's a basketball game. It's going to go. It could go back and forth like this all the time. So we were hot, then they got hot. Their pressure bothered us a little bit. The second half is the same way. It's going to be one of the best games ever.
We wish you the best of luck. Thanks a lot, Jim.
Thanks, Tracy. We tried to warn you, folks.
Yes, we did. Strap it on.
It's the end of the first half with the score. Michigan 38, Louisville 37. We'll send you to AT&T at the half. After these messages, you're watching the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship on CBS. Let's take a look at the first half stats presented by Coke Zero. Consider Trey Burke played 6 minutes in that first half. Smith and Siva, 2 out of 13 from the field. It really, forget the numbers. It gets down to 2 guys. It gets down to Albrecht and Hancock.
Albrecht was unbelievable. He saved the day for this club with Burke on the foul, on the bench with those fouls. And he comes in knocking down shots from all over the place. A couple spot ups, one off the dribble, off a high pick. He was just on fire.
Can you say ABA shootout?
Yeah.
Knocking down threes. Hancock made all 4 of his, as did Albrecht. And this was just a terrific display of shooting.
Albrecht 17, Hancock 16. And just a moment ago, Coach Beilein of Michigan talked with his assistants about how to stop Hancock.
He only got one out of the ball screen. The other ones were just coming off screen. That's not the issue, and the other was the transition. They were just rockets. They were him coming right off the side. I mean, we got to be attached to him and not let him get him. The other was a transition. And the other points were turnovers, right? We're great. We did a great job. Are you kidding me? How many turnovers we have?
We had 5 turnovers.
5 turnovers and one later on.
All right, that's the word from Michigan. Let's go over to Tracy.
Well, thanks, Jim. Rick Pitino called Michigan the best shooting team he has seen in 20 years. He said they are just so tough to guard. He said we weathered the storm, though, because of Luke. But his biggest concern, there's 7 offensive rebounds and 50% shooting by Michigan. Jim?
All right, thank you, Tracy. Guys, 25 years ago tonight, I was sitting on the set in Kansas City. Come up to me at halftime, and I look up, and it's 50-50, Kansas, Oklahoma, at the 50th Final Four. So we have the opening ceremony here on Thursday night, and all the teams are there, and I say, look, I'm expecting Monday night 75-75 at halftime. Now, it didn't quite get there. It felt like it, but it does add up to 75 first half points in what has been every bit as good and beyond what you promised.
Mr. Numbers, bringing it all together.
And now, if you're Michigan, I think you got to get Burke back into the game. Sometimes you sit out so long in the first half, you can never find your rhythm. I would look for John Beilein to run a play for Burke, try to free him up early.
That's Blackshear hitting the 3. He's having a nice night. Inbounds passes off Siva. Blackshear named here by President Mark Emmert on Thursday night, the Elite 89 honoree for the top scholar athlete. And you see this top scholar athlete at the Final Four. So you saw Smith on the bench.
You know,
it's not to start the second half. 1 out of 9 first half.
I saw him take a little bit of a hit midway through that first half, and he came up a little gimpy. Perhaps he may be suffering a bit of an injury, and also the hot hand of Luke Hancock. I've got to think he's hurt and just isn't able to go.
National championship game, he better be hurt. He does have 2 fouls, but I can't imagine that's why you would leave him on the bench to start the half.
How about being 1 out of 9 from the field? You think there's just a little message there?
He's averaging 25 a game. The tournament, he's your star.
4 to shoot. Here's Burke. Gives it up. Robinson. What a shot.
Then he got fouled. No call. Got raked right across the arm.
Michigan going back to the first half. That's the first bucket in over 4 minutes. Siva. And Robinson got a hand on it. Jang was on the line. It's going to Michigan.
Watch Robinson on this pull-up. One dribble. Watch Blackshear right there, all over his elbow. Reaches in. That should have been an and one there, but Robinson with a great concentration knocks it down.
And let's go over to Tracy quickly.
Well, guys, I just had a chance to talk with Louisville athletic trainer Fred Hina, and he told me that it is just a coaching decision, nothing wrong with the leg, although I will tell you that when Russ Smith came out of the locker room, he looked extremely frustrated, guys.
Well, there you go. Probably had just received word he would not be starting the second half. As Hardaway drives in and draws contact. Hancock. Now, this is a concern for them. That's 3 on Hancock, and Rick Pitino grabs Russ Smith and sends him to the scorer's table to check in.
I don't know if I've ever seen this, guys. I mean, Russ Smith, 25 points a game, your star player. I know he was a little out of sorts in the first half, 1 for 9 shooting, but Mark, can you ever remember
I can't remember, but I will say this. He and Rick Pitino have a really unique relationship in terms of how Rick coaches Russ. And I think that allowed Rick to feel like he could do what he needed to do there. get Russ's attention and try to get him back engaged, because he was out of kilter and certainly was pressing and forcing a bit. But I think it goes to the relationship that they have, and it's a pretty unique one. He has a special relationship with all of his players, but he and Russ have hit it off in a different kind of way. So I think that's why he felt okay making that move. We'll see how it plays out here.
Bohannon challenging McGarry and gets it to go. Tough shot.
I'd like to see Louisville do more of that. Really get Bohannon involved. He's so powerful. He's so quick off his feet. He's got such a nice touch. They need to give him some opportunities to put pressure on the defense inside.
And another whistle on the Cardinals. It's on Siva, his first.
Well, you can see Louisville looking to pick things up defensively, pressuring the ball coming from the weak side, and that looked like a clean play.
You got the ball first. Normally, if you get the ball first, the officials will let that one go. Big break there for Michigan. That's a lay-in at the other end.
Bird, he's hit some big ones from the outside in this tournament, and he does it again. From way outside, I'm talking about.
That's one of his greatest attributes, Jim. He's a terrific quarterback of his team, but off the dribble, if you go under that screen, he can hurt you from deep.
That's his first made shot since 17:21 on the clock, first half. Of course, saddled with the 2 fouls and set for 14 minutes of that half. Now, Bohannon wants to do it again, but he traveled first.
And this isn't a case where the ball, the defender goes, well, actually he did go under the screen, and that's exactly why he got burned. Burke thought he was fouled, but Siva elected to go underneath, and because Trey Burke can shoot off the dribble so well, you can't afford to go underneath.
Mostly man-to-man for Louisville. They played the matchup zone early in the game, got burned a few times. They've been mostly man-to-man with switching late in the clock.
They've got McGarry underneath, and he converts.
That's the problem when you switch. Jang gets caught all the way on the perimeter, and Rick Pitino's going to call timeout. He didn't like that defensive stand at all. McGarry getting right to the basket.
Michigan ups the lead to 4.
Michigan in the midst of a little 8-2 mini surge. We're going to take a look at Trey Burke being patient, using the pick and roll. The switch occurs. There's Jang on him. As a result, McGarry going to roll to the goal, and Trey Burke going to do a nice job getting the ball swung, and then Hardaway's able to get it inside to Mitch McGarry. But that's excellent work by Trey Burke, probing, engaging the big, and forcing that switch.
And the reason for the timeout, Siva didn't follow through with the switch. There was a miscommunication. He was trying to get back to Burke. Jang was staying with the switch, so Pitino trying to clean that up.
Louisville has 2 timeouts left. Michigan 4. And Siva dishes. Bohannon. McGarry reached in.
That's all Peyton Siva.
That's the second on McGarry. Bohannon has had a couple of handles down on the blocks and starting to look like he thinks he can do some business down there. A champion is about to be crowned, and right after the game, get your official championship gear at the official store of the NCAA, ncaa.com/shop.
When I see this kid play, Bohannon, you know, I think of, guys, Rodney McCray.
Oh, that's a good call. I saw Rodney in the concession area while I was walking around canvassing the beautiful Atlanta, Georgia Dome, and grabbing a snack or two as well. Yeah,
part of that 1980 Louisville championship team, built the same way.
Yeah, that's a good call. Yep, same type of body, same type of explosiveness.
Bounce pass to Stauskas.
Pick it up. You don't want to keep trying to dribble it.
Well, Siva, so smart. He got there. And now Stauskas comes right back, reaching in. On the floor.
Oh, what a play.
Throws it up ahead to Burke. And gets fouled. And it's going to be on Siva.
What an effort from Stauskas after it looked like Siva was going to race down and maybe get a layup. And he just pulls the ball out of that scrum and finds Burke. There's the foul from Siva. Good call from the official there.
How about every possession in this game? I mean, they've all got their own stories. I mean, it's just...
This has been terrific. This is actually a playground game on the biggest stage because these kids are going after it. They're making shots. They're making plays. And this is exactly what you want to see in college basketball. This game, to this point, worthy of a championship.
Yes, indeed. Championship Monday, Michigan 46 and Louisville 43.
Back in Atlanta, 3-point lead for Michigan. What a game we have here. Trey Burke picks up the early fouls. Spike Albrecht, who's about to come back into the ball game. That first half was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
Steve, it was absolutely beyond description for him to play the way he did, make all of his, actually missed one shot, made 4 threes, and really carried Michigan to a double-digit lead in the absence of Trey Burke, the consensus college player of the year.
Now he'll come back in with Burke playing side by side. At least it appears that way with the timeout. And that gives Michigan 2 ball handlers, a couple shooters. We heard Rick Pitino talking about the shooting of this club. Where do you know, who do you play off of? There's really nobody to cheat off of.
Hey, guys, how about McGarry, who's been such a dominating presence the first 5 games of the tournament, and not so much so here tonight.
Not as much, but he's the guy that still you have to defend. He's a big presence. He gets to the glass, and he's a good screen setter, so he's still, even though his numbers haven't said he's had the impact, he's still somebody that really is high on the priority list for Louisville scouting report.
Six points, 3 rebounds for McGarry, averaging a double-double in this tournament.
And the numbers don't always tell the story, obviously. He's rolling to the rim, which is freeing up some of those shooters. And Jang has done a nice job tonight blocking shots, clogging up that lane, going head-to-head with McGarry.
Now let's talk Louisville here. They bring Hancock back in with 3 fouls. And Siva hits the floor, keeps on dribbling. Spins around McGarry. What a shot.
Oh, man.
Hayden Siva.
Oh, my goodness. That was terrific. The hesitation dribble, and he actually had an easier layup. He actually created the difficulty of that shot, but still managed to get it up and down.
Albrecht gives it up to Burke. Gets a couple of picks. Got Jang now picking him up.
And Luke Hancock defending McGarry. They got to find a way to get it to him.
Jang taps it outside to Blackshear. And off goes Siva.
Poor decision by Burke. McGarry had the mismatch.
Jang passes it down low with the hand and hits the bucket.
How about 6 assists for Gorgie Jang? Terrific passer. Underrated passer, I think, for Louisville. And they've got the 1-point lead.
Spin move, Burke, and it almost falls. He'll go to the line for 2.
Nice look here by Gorgie Jang, and Bohannon so strong, just able to bump off Tim Hardaway Jr. there for the finish. But I like that action. The 2 big guys working together inside for Louisville, I think can be effective.
Second foul on Jang, and 1 more coming for Burke to attempt to tie it again. One network has the #1 show, the #1 comedy, the #1 news show. And we thank you, America, for making CBS our nation's most watched network.
Clark, you mentioned early in the game the matchup with Bohannon and this small Michigan front line. Robinson playing the 4 spot. A lot of teams have exposed that with Michigan's defense during the regular season. I think Michigan needs to pound it in there to Bohannon this half. Really put pressure on the Michigan defense.
Couldn't agree with you more, especially if you're in the half court. Really be intentional about trying to get that ball inside.
Smith put it up wildly, and McGarry running the break. Hop ahead to Robinson, and the ball is knocked out by Hancock. It'll stay with Michigan.
Not a good break that time. The guys from Michigan too close together. Breaked up. You want better spacing there, and that ball in the middle to try to create a numbers advantage.
It was Siva who knocked it out. Back out high to Albrecht. Albrecht, and again, Burke together on the floor. The threes battling here. Siva and Burr. And now McGarry. Pushes it outside. Hardaway. Robinson almost snares it, but it's Jang. And now Siva driving on Albrecht. Scoops it up. No. And Bohannon again very active underneath in this half. Coming alive in the second half as he did on Saturday.
He had all 10 of his points in that second half Saturday, Jim. He is such a load on the weak side glass. Look at him carve out space there. He has a size and weight advantage on Hardaway Jr. and just muscled him out.
Well, they're turning that rebound situation. Remember, Michigan really dominated the glass in that first half, but Louisville making a stand here.
And McGarry has to go to the bench. That was his third, so Horford in for him. And Bohannon will shoot another one. He's a Cincinnati kid who's been competing against Trey Burke in the Buckeye State since the two were in the third grade. All kinds of tournament action. They've known each other for a long, long time. Hits them both.
Steve, you talked about Michigan enjoying that rebounding advantage in the first half. The reason they did is because they spaced the floor and moved the ball with the pass and got good shot attempts. So far in this half, they're trying to drive it. Burke has driven it in and forced some tough shots. And there's another forced pass, that time by Albrecht.
Hancock looking around. Finds a man open in the corner. Smith, can he? Yes, he can. And Louisville now takes its largest lead of the night at 5.
Remember the cumulative effect of the Louisville pressure defense. They haven't forced a lot of turnovers, but they take your legs from you over time. We saw it against Wichita State.
Smith had been only 1 of 10 before that one, and that's going to count. It went in anyway for Hardaway. So Smith, after 1 of 10, is able to hit a 3.
Here you see Albrecht trying to force a pass between a couple of defenders. This turnover led to the 3 by Russ Smith as Michigan was cross-matched in transition.
Blackshear. Bohannon tipped it in. He's now got 13-9 coming in this half.
I think Michigan has a matchup advantage with Russ Smith defending Tim Hardaway Jr. if they can get it to Hardaway Jr. in that 10 to 12 foot area where he can turn and shoot over or backing down with just 1 or 2 dribbles.
That's going to be Smith's third foul there, holding. You're right, Michigan was going after that matchup, trying to bring Hardaway off of a screen, and Smith just grabbed him.
Siva, brief break. And in for Blackshear.
Blackshear's exhausted. He's playing so hard, he is gasping for air over there on the sideline.
Burke comes back out. Uses the screen from Horford. Puts up the 3. And he's hitting these shots tonight.
There's no defense for that.
Where have we seen that one before? Kansas?
You saw it.
That was like that exact same spot. I think Bill Self's still having nightmares about that one.
Burke has 14. Siva feed the corner at Smith. Long rebound Burke. Wanting to push it up ahead. And Siva's going to be called for his 3rd.
This is what we call in the gym range. Get me in the building and I can spray you from deep. Michigan down 2.
An all-time record at the Georgia Dome tonight, 74,000 plus. Of course, Dome basketball started back in the late 60s. Guy Lewis, the visionary, went into the Hall of Fame today, the legendary old University of Houston coach. Look at the foul issues here. 3 for the 3 members, the backcourt there from Louisville. And
Mitch McGarry also has 3 for Michigan.
And you saw Kevin Ware there. I mean, that's where this, no pun intended, that's where this becomes an issue, right? I mean,
exactly. And Louisville has 16 fouls, guys. The next one sends a pretty good free throw shooting team to the line.
Well, Albrecht misses his first 3 of the tournament as Siva drives in and gets the soft action.
That's a terrific finish. Siva just eyed up Hardaway Jr. and got to the rim.
Up ahead, Albrecht, 3-on-2. Bounce pass, and Harrell thought he had a clean block, but the officials disagree.
Hancock down.
I think it was on Hancock.
Zhang is down as well.
Was the foul on Hancock? It
They
sure
called
looked
it on
like.
Hancock,
Yeah,
his
he gets
first.
him right down below. He actually tripped.
Over Zhang.
Yeah.
Tripped over his own guy.
That's number 4 now on
Yeah.
Hancock. 11 minutes to go.
That's
you need
big.
his shooting.
That is large.
No, they marked it to Harrell, his first.
They gave that to Harrell.
It's on Harrell, confirmed.
How is that possible? I mean, Hancock just undercut Morgan's legs. That should be number 4. That's, boy, what a break. Not sure what they were looking at there. I like the way Albrecht attacked that pressure. If you're Michigan, it's tough sledding in the half court. So if you get a free run in transition, you beat the press, you attack. Remember what happened against Syracuse when they were trying to close the game out the other night? They got very cautious, and it really hurt them.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, when a team is pressing you, you can't drive the car with the parking brake on. You got to push that thing full throttle ahead, and Albrecht did a nice job with the late bounce pass, too.
Jordan Morgan trims it to 56-54. Cardinals got Siva inside, and an easy basket with the assist outside by Hancock.
That was a called play, a nice little screen at the foul line. Back screen freed up Peyton Siva for the easy one.
Here's Burke. With Smith shifting back to him. Underneath, and that glass touch by Louisville. 7 to shoot.
Nice job here in the half court by Louisville. Watch the brush screen. Zhang freeing up Siva as he got a piece of Trey Burke there. No pressure on the passer. No backside help as McGarry comes in, and Siva got the easy one.
McGarry back on the floor with 3 fouls. And Burke inbounds to Hardaway. He wants to take it and hits it.
Exactly what he should have done.
That's the matchup you've been calling for a while over Smith.
Because if he catches it in the scoring range, he doesn't have to over dribble. That was a one dribble back up over the top, easy jump shot.
Now it's Jang. Feed the corner. Smith rattles out, and Burke takes off. And Siva picks off the angled pass.
It was too late, Tim. That pass should have been made 2 dribbles sooner.
And Siva goes coast to coast. And Peyton Sr. loved it. 12 points for Junior. 8 coming in this half. Hardaway.
Oh! My goodness!
And his dad's celebrating too. Drove it right inside with the Big East Defender of the Year. Waiting for him. Hancock. He's so good at drawing those fouls.
And he got the 4th one on number 4.
Wow.
First of all, we get a spectacular dunk. Jang starts to go up and says, I think I'm too late. I'm going to pull back here. But how many times have we seen this? Hancock so smart with that pump fake, and that is just enormous. 4 on McGarry now.
Large. That is a big, big play by Hancock and a huge foul on McGarry. That means Jordan Morgan, as you see him there in the top of your screen, he's going to re-enter.
It's a freshman mistake. It's been a problem for McGarry throughout the season. Foul trouble. He's so anxious. And when you get a great shooter like Hancock, you're so anxious to challenge it. You're nervous he's going to knock down a 3. And McGarry lost his poise there just for a moment.
2 more, though, coming for Hancock, who's been battling, in the words of his coach, Rick Pitino, 2 worst shoulder injuries he's ever seen. One happened this past summer in a pickup game on a nasty fall. And the other one happened as Van Treese returns for Harold. The other injury, the one that still nags Hancock, happened when he was at George Mason playing for Jim Larrañaga. He slipped on ice going to class at George Mason and fractured the shoulder.
That's why I went to Arizona.
There you go.
I don't have to worry about any of that. Well, how do you find points here? Now, you don't have to worry about McGarry if you're the Louisville defense, so you can really play hard on these screens for Robinson and Hardaway. You don't have to worry about that roll man quite as much.
I think this is your guy here, but he can't settle for quick jumpers. He's got to try to score inside of 15 feet against Hancock, who has some foul trouble.
Seba to Smith. It's his 3rd shot of the night, Russ Smith.
He's just as relentless, guys. As much as he's struggled, he feels like the next one's going in, and he can rattle off 3 or 4 makes in a row.
He's got 9 on the night. Hardaway with a really good look. The last 2 trips.
Danger time for Michigan. You can feel the game slipping a little bit. What happens here in the next minute or 2? Remember how many times Louisville has blitzed opponents here in this tournament over a 2-3 minute stretch.
That's what they do, and Seba kicked it out of bounds there. So a break for Michigan. I still think Michigan has to go to the Hardaway matchup. The Hardaway Jr. matchup against Hancock. They're going to get some full court pressure here, though. With the dead ball. Actually a good opportunity for both teams to get a little blow as Hardaway Jr. going to sit down now as Nick Stauskas returns. I think they want to get him just a quick bit of rest with the under 8 media timeout on the horizon here. And then get Hardaway Jr. back in for the stretch run.
And Seba sits. Blackshear in for him.
I think Pitino thinking the same thing with Seba in terms of the rest. Additional time with the media timeout upcoming. And then thinking about the last few minutes of this ball game.
Burke. Basket counts. The foul on Blackshear. 16 for the consensus National Player of the Year.
And here he is, realizing contact's coming, the extension, the proper English, and that's a big bucket for the Naismith Award winner.
63-60 coming out of the under 8 break with Burke a chance to add 1 more at the line after the 3rd foul was called on Wayne Blackshear of Louisville.
Foul's a big story here. 8 for Louisville, just 3 for Michigan, although the 4 on McGarry also a problem. Michigan, one of the leading teams in the country in terms of fewest fouls, and it really pays off for them down the stretch. Not only do they end up shooting more free throws than their opponents, but oftentimes their opponents are in the 1-and-1 late instead of the double bonus, which just adds a lot of tension to that late game situation.
Excellent point, Steve. And now can Michigan find enough defense to keep Seba out of the lane and force Louisville to be a jump shooting team? And James has shown us all season long how much he has improved his offensive game. He's passed for 6 assists, and he's made a couple of those foul line jumpers as well tonight.
And his dad is back home watching in Senegal, watching a live streaming feed of our broadcast on CBSSports.com, rooting for his son. He worships his father, Momar. And here's Stauskas going back outside with a zip pass that was too much. And wide of the mark for Albrecht.
10th turnover now for Michigan. Take a look at Gorgie Jang. Pick and pop this is. 2 men go to the ball. Jang alone at the foul line, no hesitation. Knocks it down. I think you come right back to it.
Seba. That was blocked by Robinson. Jang again. Jang waiting.
Oh, he got away with the wall.
Wild scramble.
like Louisville will retain possession. That was a wild scramble. Could have been
Any number of
could have
things.
been a
Yeah,
foul.
right.
It's a play on, and ball just goes off of Burke's arm there.
Smith inbounds to Siva. Smith wanted it. Puts it up long. And Hardaway. 2 hands. Gives it up to Burke. Drives right past 2 Cardinals. And a foul call is against Jang.
He's too deep. And Trey Burke.
Burke is shaken up.
He sure is. They're backing away. He gets by Smith, who reached in. And you can see Gorgie Jang clearly inside the restricted area arc. You can never be in legal guarding position there. And Burke comes down hard. Looks like on the side of his face and shoulder.
Well, he aggravated the lower back injury in the first game of the tournament against South Dakota State. And he's not made a big deal out of it, but it has been an issue for him these last couple of weeks.
I just saw him shake his head. I thought Siva asked him, was he okay? And Burke shaking it off, walking it off. Sometimes that's all you need is the adrenaline of the moment and a little walk-off, and you recalibrate things.
That's going to hurt more tomorrow than it does right now, but who cares, right?
You got that right. Championship on the line.
Tell you, the other interesting thing here for Michigan, assuming Burke is fine, and you mentioned this, but Albrecht is not used to playing big minutes. He went on an incredible run in the first half, but you wonder, is this going to wear him down? We haven't seen him make a shot here in the second half. You bring Stauskas back in, who made a 3 in the first, but is more accustomed to playing these crunch time minutes. At what point are you looking at diminishing returns with Albrecht?
Second one goes for Burke. Third foul on Jang.
That is a valid point, and I'm sure it's something the coaching staff is thinking about with Michigan here. Although a one-possession game, I think buys him a little more time to be out there.
There's the lob to Siva. Hancock found him right on the spot. And very nearly was there. In fact, it's off Michigan. Hancock gets the assist and then forces the turnover.
You cannot make assumption passes against Louisville. You can't get into a rhythm of just blindly throwing the ball to a space. It has to be to a target and to hand sharply. If not, that kind of turnover can happen that just did.
Let's see that. Short with that one.
Got numbers if they push it.
Albrecht had broken early. Lob pass. Yes, sir. Robinson takes the feed from Burke.
Beautifully done by Trey Burke.
They've had a response every time it felt like maybe was slipping. They've made a big play defensively, come back with a score, and it's right back to 3.
Anytime Siva drives, if he does not score and you rebound cleanly, you have a numbers advantage because he's too deep to get back on defense.
Here's Hancock. Putting it up. No. 2 Cardinals fought for it. It's Bohannon. And it spins out. And that's Hardaway snatching it away from Jang. Up ahead, Robinson. Robinson's got a clean lead. But Siva reached in and knocked it out.
In transition, actually, this is Louisville. Beautiful execution. And look at Siva elevate. Wow.
You like
and
that
then
one?
at the other end, oh, yeah, this one was sweet, too. Glenn Robinson III. But Siva, they list him at 6 feet in the program. That's a program height. He's south of 6 foot tall and really elevated on that one.
Inbounds to Horford, which was challenged by Jang, and Michigan goes back outside with it as we near 5 minutes to go in a great championship game. Albrecht, and up ahead it's Siva. Burke to defend. Oh, they call a foul, and Burke can't believe it.
Oh, boy. It wasn't a foul on the ball. It had to be with the body. Let's take another look. You can see Burke sizing him up. For everything else we've seen, that's a play on clearly.
Clean. Great block.
It was one of the great blocks.
Yeah, no
really, it's not
question.
just a block.
Oh, I feel you, Trey. I feel you.
Siva at the line. after the third foul call of the game on Burke. Burke and Siva, who know each other well from summer camps together. They were 2 of them this past summer.
Now, if you're Michigan, how much longer do you keep McGarry on the bench? Lead back to 5. McGarry with 4 fouls. I think you can't wait too much longer.
Siva coming up big tonight with 16 points, 12 in this half. Burke steps in, that's a 2. And a short trip as the Hannum. Gets it back out. Jang. And Gorgie Jang adds 2 more, and Louisville now has its biggest lead of 7.
That was so well done by Louisville. The quick pass ahead by Smith led to the post-up for Jang.
Outside, Bohannon whistled for that one.
And Steve, you go back to the point you made about the fouls. Michigan has been able a couple of times now, by virtue of getting to the foul line, to at least stem one of these surges that Louisville likes to make to try to knock you out.
And that's the 10th team foul on Louisville, so double bonus the rest of the way. Only 4 this half on Michigan. So speaking of 4, they've got McGarry. No, he's got another try here, guys. McGarry still on the bench with the 4 fouls.
And Karis LeVert returns to replace Spike Albrecht. As you look at Mitch McGarry, I'm assuming that here it comes now.
Yep.
I thought he might hold out until the media timeout, but it doesn't feel like he can afford to.
And with Jang going a little bit now, if you're Louisville, just go right back in at McGarry. You know, he's got those 4. He's going to be reluctant to challenge Jang. Go inside, continue to pound away against this smaller Michigan defense.
The timeout called by the Wolverines. Louisville 71-65. We've had 5 lead changes in the second half. This entire half played in an 11-point window. Louisville's lead largest at 7, Michigan at 4, and it's coming out now of a Michigan timeout.
You think the wear and tear of this pressure from Louisville, the picking up full court, the work on the glass, is it finally having a toll on Michigan?
Well, it seems that way. 6 turnovers in this half. You see the team foul story very much in favor of Michigan, but they have to find a way to get stops. And Louisville operating out of this pick and roll. Jang has come alive. He's going against McGarry, who has 4 fouls.
Jang. McGarry's on him. Hook shot. Sweet. Gorgie Jang.
Ball screen, ball screen, ball screen. That's all we've seen from Louisville in this second half. Probably all we'll see the rest of the game.
And Hardaway was fouled by Hancock. It'll be 2 shots coming up. That was a block shot by Jang. Otherwise, it could have been more. But it's the largest lead of this game at 8 for Louisville. 3:52 to play. Foul issues mounting. That was Hancock's 4th a moment ago. That'll send Hardaway to the line for 2.
Well, down 8. 3:52 to go, but you only have to look back about 10 days ago or so.
In Dallas.
Yep.
In Arlington.
Down 10, Michigan was, to Kansas with 2:20 left in regulation. Ended up winning in overtime, but look, it's going to take an effort here at the defensive end. You got to make shots, obviously, but it's about getting stops and defending, and that's a little tougher against the speed and quickness of this Louisville backcourt. The penetration, they've been getting into the paint an awful lot.
Yeah, winning points in the paint, Steve, 32-24 is Louisville. Siva has 12 of his 16 here in the second half. Gorgie Jang has 6 of his 8 in the last 4 minutes. And it's really been those 2 guys with some help from Bohannon. But in the last few minutes, it's been Siva and Jang that have carried the load offensively. And you know they're going to stay with the ball screen action up top, getting Bohannon involved now. Double ball screen.
Smith. Hancock, best shot he's had this half, and he gets it.
That is absolutely splendid execution by the Cardinals. That's championship execution there.
And he's matched his 20-point total of Saturday. Burke driving in, and Jang couldn't get there in time. As Burke able to put the right spin on it. And they got a wet spot on the floor.
Well, once again, penetration. The second half has been all about the penetration of Smith and Siva, and it's either led to baskets in the paint or open threes. Hancock, tell you what, they hang on to this lead. Start etching his name on that MOP trophy. But a ways to go. 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's a long time. Yeah. But he has been fantastic. And he's done it his way and his pace. Luke Hancock. A little pressure here by Michigan now. Opens up the floor for penetration and offensive rebound if you don't cover the bases.
Siva off on the three. But look at Bohannon. Missed the chippy. Tap out, no. Outside to Smith. Wants the three. Not this time. McGarry. And Michigan survives about a 4-shot assault that time.
Rick Pitino furious at Russ Smith. That was really a quick shot when they didn't need it.
And Burke again is hurt on the fall to the floor.
Well, he's taking an awful lot of punishment because he's going in there looking for contact, getting contact, and getting himself to the line. That's the 4th foul now on Jang.
And how about the other end? You get another shot opportunity, a new clock. About 2.5 to go and an 8-point lead. Russ Smith bring the ball back out, run some clock. I mean, that led to the 4th foul.
You're exactly right.
Game is tied together.
That's not in his makeup, and it hurts him sometimes.
Yes.
He's taken a number of shots that have been questionable tonight. And that was the most questionable.
2 for Burke.
Let's see if Michigan comes back with that little zone with some trapping. John Beilein told us earlier his team has not been good in the zone this year. He used to run that 1-3-1 at West Virginia as a staple. Not so much with this team, but he's had so much trouble with penetration. Looks like he's trying to change it up here with that zone.
The only problem, you saw how many multiple shots Louisville got because they were scrambling. You've got to be able to rebound out of it if you're going to be gambling. That means everybody's got a gang rebound. Plus 10 on the board this half for Louisville.
Here's Smith. And foul outside. Called against Burke.
And only the 15th foul.
Boy, that could have been continuation, too. I mean, that was close.
That would have been NBA continuation, Steve.
That is the 4th on Burke. So 4 on Burke, 4 on McGarry. As we move to the 2-minute mark. And Siva gives it up. Taps it. No! 2 good looks for Bohannon. He's fighting for it again. And gets it the 3rd time. Not to be denied. Oh, and things getting really chaotic as Burke was driving and Smith is called for the reach in, which is his 4th.
This is nothing but strength and persistence. McGarry fortunate he didn't get Dairy Queen there because he was all over Bohannon. But what an effort, and Pitino loves it.
That was just grit and toughness. Bohannon changed this game from the outset of the second half. Just the toughness inside, the rebounding edge, the physical play of Louisville has been the difference. Wow.
Now Burke will shoot 1 more. Thought about leaving last year, but decided in the end he wanted to come back because he wanted to play for a national championship. Brought his teammates together and talked about being a Michigan man. They listened. They talked about making a run before the season even started. He felt they would be on this stage. And now they have 1:40 to go and have to make up the 6-point deficit.
Jordan Morgan is in because McGarry has the 4 fouls. Little offense-defense substitution. Morgan can be much more aggressive, obviously. Not in any foul trouble.
Smith's pass. It's a tough one. And he threw it over the head of Siva. Siva's pointing, you should have thrown it back to Hancock.
A rough stretch here for Russ Smith. A quick shot, a foul, when he didn't really need to pressure Burke, and now a turnover that puts Michigan right back in this big possession here.
Don't need anything other than a quality shot. Nate, you really want to try to drive it.
Outside, Robinson, and he's fallen on by Bohannon.
Showed him the ball, Paratroopers Club, and he knew right away he was in danger. Fortunate that it wasn't anything worse than what we saw. Still a hard fall.
Tell you this,
for Bohannon.
If that were Luke Hancock on the pump fake, this would be 3 free throws coming up, and that's an
excellent point.
But Robinson thought he could step in, maybe get an easier 2. Well, that's
a great point you make there.
It's something that you really have to work on. Hancock has been so good with it.
Glenn Robinson III, freshman from St. John, Indiana. Of course, the son of the former National Player of the Year, Glenn Big Dog Robinson, has 2 shots. And there is Kathleen Beeline.
Looks like she's got the butterflies flying in formation there.
Yes, absolutely. I think there are about 74,000 people that do as well. On this record night at the Georgia Dome. McGarry back in.
Now, do you play it out here? I think you have to. But you also start thinking about fouls, because you're only at 5 right now. So you can be very aggressive if you're Michigan. Go after a steal. Don't even worry if you end up fouling.
Timeout ball by Patina.
You're right.
And let's take a look at our Capital One Cup impact performance.
He's been terrific. Stuffing the stat sheet. The co-captain, Peyton Siva, doing it every which way you can do it. And he's been splendid. 12 of those 16 points here in this second half.
A couple of those lobs, really, I thought, kind of changed things for Louisville. The easy baskets for Siva seemed to get him going even more, but the numbers never tell the story with Peyton Siva. They look great tonight, but even when they're not there, he has such a profound impact on the game.
The lead had been 10, but it's an 8-2 stretch for Michigan as we approach a minute.
Remember, you just said 5 team fouls, so 1 more to give.
No need to foul here. No need to foul. Play this one out. It's too late in the shot clock now. You got to get a stop and a rebound.
We're at 10 on the shot clock. Siva, floater, no. Rebound, Michigan.
He was out of bounds.
Well, he may have gotten pushed out of bounds, but the contact could have been incidental. Let's take a look.
He got pushed by his own man.
Well, because Bohannon pushed his own man into him.
Yes, Bohannon went over the top of, was
Trey
that Burke?
Yep. Trey Burke.
Oh, boy.
So a new 35 possession for Louisville, 50 seconds to go in the game.
Well, I don't know if you can afford to go this full shot clock now. A couple of seconds to try to get the steal, then you got to, well, as a matter of fact, you got to foul immediately because you need to get to the bonus.
I think that's McGarry out. They can't allow him to do that, so Horford onto the floor.
Yeah, I think you got to foul right away so you can hurry up and get to the bonus and then try to foul a poor free throw shooter.
Get him, go foul him.
It's Smith.
Boy, they're not looking to foul.
Burke can't foul. Burke can't do it.
No, he's got 4.
Jang, you might want to put him on the line if you're Michigan, and they do.
Well, but it's still 1 foul to go until
exactly. That's
bonus.
why you needed to foul immediately.
Yeah. LeVert missed the original foul. He had a chance. So and now you got to force the ball if you can. It's extremely difficult. Force the ball to Bohannon or Jang.
Yeah,
those are the 2 weakest foul shooters for Louisville. But these guards so quick, tough to keep the ball out of their hands.
And you got a couple of guys with 4 fouls. McGarry and Burke.
Over to Siva.
Don't want to foul him, but you might have to.
And again, Burke has to back off. Here's Hancock. Well, they don't want to foul, but they'll put him on the line.
Well, but why not take Burke out of the game here if you're John Beeline when he's got 4 and you know you have to foul anyways? Get Albrecht in there. Cost Michigan a lot of time here in the last 40 seconds.
Well, when they first had to inbound
that foul.
When they first had to inbound the ball, Louisville, there was 50 seconds on the clock.
It's 1-1.
And they allowed 21 seconds to go before the 1-1 came into play.
First one, never even thought about the rim. Over that one. 22 points. He's tied a career high.
I'll try to drive it and see if he can get a shot in the foul. Burke's going to probably try to look to pull up his three.
Burke shot short. Rebound back outside to Burke with 15 seconds. Whips it around, gets it to Hardaway. 14 seconds and a timeout. Not over. 80-76. Pitino's Cardinals. Stay tuned after the game for Inside March Madness presented by Buick on True TV. And guys, take me through it. What's going to happen here?
Louisville wants to throw the ball inbounds. Receiver Rush Smith. Michigan going to pressure and foul right away, whoever catches it.
And you get Burke out of the game, Albrecht in. That way, once the foul occurs, you can go back to Burke at the other end.
But it's an immediate foul. Can't fool around. You want to try to force the ball to Bohannon or Jang, but whoever catches it gets fouled immediately.
It's Siva. And that took about a second to send him down to the line for a 1-and-1. Joanne Pitino, she and her husband celebrated their 37th anniversary this past week on the same day that Rick found out he was going into the Hall of Fame, which was official this morning. Same day his son got the job at Minnesota. Now he sends one of his all-time favorite players to 1-and-1. Peyton Siva, the points up to the sky. Siva, who wears that number 3. There's Richard Pitino taking over the Golden Gophers. That 3 for Siva, representing the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And he gets them both.
Got to go for the 3 now.
Yep.
And if you're Louisville, guard that 3-point line. Don't even worry about guarding the paint.
7 seconds to go. Burke puts it up from way outside, and it's out of bounds. Ball to Louisville with 3.7 seconds. How about Louisville down 12, second half, Wichita State comes back to win it. Down 12, first half tonight to Michigan. And now just a second away from the school's 3rd all-time national championship. 80-86 under Denny Crum, and now Pitino.
What a week.
What a week. Crazy week. Crazy good week.
And what a game.
And there's Denny Crum, who won the first 2 school championships, national championships.
Now they're just looking at the clock here, a formality at this point. I'll tell you what, Clark, this Louisville team, they were the deepest and most well-rounded club, and that's why they're taking this crown. They can beat you in so many ways. The strength of the front line tonight, along with the relentless play of the guards, that changed the game in the second half. Getting into the paint and offensive rebound.
I think those are the things that define this team. Relentlessness and resilience. That's who they've been all year. And you throw talent and a Hall of Fame coach in the mix.
Unbelievably well-coached club. They just have an answer for everybody.
And that will do it as Louisville completes the emotional journey to the championship. team a week ago in Indianapolis and had the hearts of the whole nation. Rick Pitino joined John Wooden on the all-time number of total wins in his career tonight, on this night of the 75th National Championship, the winningest coach in the history of the championship. Rick Pitino, named a Hall of Famer this morning and making history tonight. For Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr and Tracy Wolfson, Jim Nantz congratulating the Louisville Cardinals, your 2013 national champions. Coming up, more from the Georgia Dome after these messages.